Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and the 6th episode of the Torii photo manipulation course. On the previous episodes, we've created the scene and give it a texture, and in this episode, we'll work on the camera setting and lights. So if you haven't watched the first episodes yet and want to come along with us, just make sure to watch them first, then come back to this video. And I should mention that this is the last episode of the blend section, and from the next episode we will work on the Photoshop. So let's get started quickly. First of all, let's add a camera to the scene. Press Shift A and bring a camera. Then hold Alt, Ctrl and Z on the numpad to fit the view to the camera. And press N to open up the side menu here. From the View tab, you can check the camera to the view and press N again to close it up. By this one selected, you can snap the view to the camera. It means that as we move or rotate in the world, the camera also will rotate and move as well. So let's find a correct position and view for our camera. It's not a permanent view, we will change it later, but for now, we can work on it a little bit to have a better view, and maybe something like this would be good for now. And for the camera ratio, I want to change it. Come to the output properties, and from the resolution, you can change it to any number you want. For the ratio, I'm going to change it to 30:40 in 40:50. Then hit OK and press N, then check off the camera to view, zoom in a little bit, zoom out a little bit like this, and check it in again and press N to close this menu. And then let's find the correct position and view to the camera. I think this would be better, but come to the camera properties, the object data properties, and we're gonna decrease the focal length of camera a little bit. Maybe we can decrease it to 30, then zoom in the camera a little bit and bring it to somewhere like this. Maybe we can rotate it a little bit, or maybe we can try 35. We can zoom in out a little bit and rotate it to find a better view. And also we can zoom in out just a bit, not so much. And for now, I think it's okay. So let's split the view into two parts. I wanted one of them to the camera and the other one for adding lights and other stuff, additional stuff. Bring your mouse here and click and drag it to the left part, and you see that it is splitting the view into the two parts. And in this view, press T to close up this panel, and we can bring it, and we can change the view from the material view to the render view to see what's going on in the real render result. And here, press the home button key to fit the camera, and also press N and come to the view and check this off to not change the camera by chance. And let's come out of the camera, and from here we have the camera itself, and we'll see the changes properly what's happening in the camera and the last result render. So first of all that we should do is to change the color of the world. Come to the shading tab, and let's change this one also to the render view. And first of all, before we change the color of world, let's select one of these ones. And on the previous video I've set it to 2, but it is a little bit low. Let's change it to 20, and it would be more shinier than before. And come to this part, change the object to the world, and with that color you can decrease the world's color to make it dark like this. And again, come to the layout tab to see it properly. We can change it to render view as well. You see that we have a really dark world. Let's come to shading tab for now. Let's add a light. I'm gonna snap the light to these lanterns here, flames. Let's select one of them, press Shift S and cursor to select it. And let's add a light. I'm gonna add a point light and change the power to something around 100, and it will add some lights here. And let's change the color to a bluish color, something like this one maybe. And you can hover your mouse over the color and hit Ctrl C to copy the color. I'm gonna add this color for the another lantern here. Select this lantern and press Shift S and cursor to select it. Then add the point light, and also let's change the power to 100 and hover your mouse on the cover and hit Ctrl V to paste the color to this one as well. So let's add another light. Press Shift A and bring a area light this time, and press 3 to go to side orthographic view and bring it all the way here. And maybe we can rotate it to somewhere like this, and let's rotate it a little bit. And for this one I'm gonna increase the power to around 1000, and let's change the color to a bluish color like this. And let's take a copy of this one with Shift D, bring it on top of it, and hold Alt and R to cancel any rotation of this one. I want it to be at the top of the Torii gate, and bring it a little bit higher. And maybe we can scale it on the X-axis like this. Press 1 to go to front orthographic view and bring it to the center of this Torii gate. And also we can do this for the previous slide. I forgot to do that. Press 1 and let's increase the scale it on the X-axis and bring it to somewhere like this. And maybe we can add a little bit more blue to the color to have something like this, and select this one. Also we can work on it a little bit more. And then press 3 to go to side orthographic view, and let's take another copy of this one and bring it here, then rotate it, bring it up to this point. And for this one I'm going to change the color to an orange color, but it's so much for now. We're going to decrease it, decrease the saturation. Maybe this would work for us for now, and we can bring it a little bit further like this. And let's take another copy of this tree here. Let's select it, both tree and the leaves, and let's take a copy of this one. Press 7 to go to the top orthographic view. By Shift D, let's take a copy and bring it to somewhere like this, and let's rotate it like maybe this is good. This is good, and we can move it a little bit to the left part, and also we can bring it a little bit maybe higher, and then we can bring it a little bit to the right part, just like this. And for this one, this tree, let's bring it a little bit to the left part. It's so near, it's so inside the view. I don't want it to be like this. And maybe we can bring it a little bit more even, and select this one, this surface, and bring it a little bit to the front like this. And now our scene is a little bit clearer than before. Maybe we'll work on the tree leaves later. For now, just focus on the lights. And I forgot to take the lights to another collection. Let's select all of them and press M and new collection. Then I'm gonna call it light and camera. Then bring them to the collection. And for the camera itself and the spotlights, we're gonna do the same thing here. Let me find them. They are really hard to select. It was this one and the other one. Press M and now select the light and the camera. So I want to add another light, or maybe we can increase its power a little bit. Maybe something like 1200 and we can scale it on the z-axis a little bit, just like this, and press 3 again to go to side orthographic view. Let's add another light, an area light, and rotate it like this. It should be, and bring it here a little bit outer than the lantern itself, and change the color to a bluish color, and we can increase the power itself, and that's good. Press 1 to go to front of the graphic view, take a copy of this one and bring it towards the other lantern as we did for the previous one. That's good, I think, and maybe we can add another light, a supporting light in the front. But first of all, before that, let's select this light, and it wasn't that. Let's select this one and change the color a little bit, make it bluish, more bluish than before, like something between blue and purple. And let's do the same thing for this one as well. Change it to that color. I like to tune here the interaction between the purple color and blue purple with the orangish color here. I think it would have the great effect on our scene. And press 3 to go to side orthographic view, and let's take a copy of this one. And I think this would be good to have two lights here. It would be the support for our previous light. And I forgot to add a rim light to behind the Torii gate. Let's take a copy of this one and bring it here, and press R and rotate it to up to here. We have lots of lights because it's working a little bit laggy, you see. And don't forget to save your project in the case of crashing and getting out of the software. It's so crucial, you know. And let's scale it on the x-axis, this light. Bring it behind this Torii gate, somewhere like this. And press 7 to go to top orthographic view, and we can see from here properly. Let's rotate it a little bit from this view, and it should be somewhere like this. And let's decrease the power. It shouldn't be that much for this one. Maybe we can try 500, and we can push it a little bit backwards and bring it here like this. And 500 is, I think, is too much. Again, let's decrease it to 200, and let's take another copy and bring it to the other side like this. I want to have this effect on the edges of the gate. It has a really powerful effect. And let's select this light. I don't like this effects here, that the squarey effects on the rocks. Maybe we can work on them by, let's select the rock itself, come to the shading tab, and it has some issue with the UV mapping. Let's change the world to object, and maybe we can work on the scales a little bit. I don't want to UV map it again. Maybe it would fix the problem, but it doesn't. Let's come back with Control Z. Then I have an add-on for UV mapping. We can press tab to go to edit mode, and then U, then cube projection. You don't have it, you should install it. It's free, you can download it. If I can find the link, I'll put it in the description, but if you can keep projection, you can find it yourself easily. And let's unwrap it by cube projection, and maybe we can work on the rotation, and let's change it to 90. Then come back to the layout tab, and now it would be fixed. I think it is much better than before. Yeah, it's good now. And we can work on it to find a good position. let's try another amount for the rotation or the location of this X and Y and Z axis. Maybe we can work on it, and that's it. It's much better now. And let's select this light here. Maybe we can make it a little bit desaturated, and also we can scale it on the Z axis. And there we go. So let's add a volume for our scene. I want to add a fog effect here. Press Shift A and bring a cube. Bring it to the center of the world and scale it up. We should cover all the scene that we've created. Scale it up a little bit to somewhere like this. And let's change it to solid view for now and press 3 to go to orthographic view, and let's scale it on the Z axis just a bit, not so much. Scale it down, I mean. And there we go. With this one selected, come to the object properties, and from the viewport display, let's change the display as from texture to wire. In that case, you can just only see it as a wire and the edges of the object, so we can see inside the object as well. Press F2 to change its name to volume, and then come to the shading tab and let's add a new texture for this one and call it volume. Then let's find the nodes. Where are they? Let's select this principal PSTF and X to delete it and add a volume texture. Search for volume and you can find volume, principal volume, and bring it here. Let's plug the volume to the volume of this one, and there we go. But we can't see anything because the density is too much. It's 1. Let's decrease it to around 0.2 maybe. 0.2 is working well for us for now. And let's go to the layout tab to see it properly. You see that we have a really powerful fog effect, but I'd like to go even a little bit further more. Come to the shading tab again and search for noise texture, and after noise texture we're gonna search for color ramp. So let's bring them here. Plug the color of the color ramp to the color itself and plug the color of the noise texture to the factor. And for this one, let's increase the roughness and detail, and we can work with these amounts to work on the fogginess of the world. And by changing these places, you see that we have a great result in the fogginess of the world. It can have great effects like this. And let's come back to the layout tab and you can see the difference here. And maybe we can change the scale a little bit. Let's make it a little bit bigger, the fogs. That is good maybe, and or we can work on it even more. Maybe we can bring it to this part to the left and bring the blacks to the left a little bit. You see that by bringing the colors to the left part, they are fading. The fog is fading. And maybe this one will work for us. Finding good amounts needs lots of tries, and I should try different styles, different amounts. Because of that, it takes a little bit time. And let's change density a little bit to maybe to 5 or 25 or 25, or even we can change it to 3. And let's come back to the layout tab, and there we go. You see that we've created a great result here by this tune here and also the fogs on the world. Or maybe even we can change it, increase the density to perhaps 4, Yeah, 4 is good. And I think the lighting part is nearly over, but we can add some additional stuff. Let's select this tree here. And let's take a copy of this one. Press 7 to go to the top orthographic view. By Shift-D, let's take a copy of this one and bring it here in front of the light to have some shadows on this tree. It was so light. You see that if I move it to the side, you can see that it's so light. I don't want to be that light. Bring it in front of the light to have a little bit shadow on it. And maybe we can select one of them, press 3 to go to front side orthographic view, and we can take another copy of this one because here in this part we didn't have good lights. Come to the data object properties, and maybe we can change it to 1500, and for this one we can change the color to something like this maybe, and bring it a little bit back. And let's select the top light here and bring it down to have this REM effect here, REM light effect here on top of the gate. And we can change the color to maybe around purple, or we can add some bluish like this, and we can increase it to 1200. And let's add an empty object, and it would be the last step for this tutorial. Press 7 and let's add a empty object, plain axis, and bring it here, because in the Photoshop our character will be in this part. I want to focus the camera here, and the other parts, including these leaves and the top leaves, they wouldn't be on the focus. I don't want them to be focused. Because of that, I'm using this empty object as a focus object for our camera. Now select the camera, and from here check on the depth of field, and let's select the eyedropper tool and select this empty object, and from the f-stop we're going to decrease the f-stop to somewhere like point 1 is so low, I don't want this. Maybe we can try 0.4 or 0.5. I like the effect of 0.4. 0.4 is good for now. And come to the render properties, and from the bloom part, let's increase a little bit the intensity of this one to have a little bit more glows on the lights. And maybe we can come to the shading tab, and let's change the object to the world, and let's make the world even darker than before. Let's change the result. I think it's better than before, and there we go. So it's ready for taking render. I forgot to tell you that we're going to render out in the Eevee engine. So hit the F12 to get the render of the project. See you on the other side. And there you go. This is the last result of our render, and this would be the last section of the blended part. And on the next episode, we'll work on Photoshop, we'll add character, add additional lights, and I think Let's video would be the last episode of this course. Thanks a lot with your support. I hope you've learned something up to here, and if you weren't familiar with the Blender, you've got some interest to go on with the Blender. And if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed yet in the channel, just click on that button below to subscribe in the channel, and hit the bell in the case of not missing any new videos. So keep practicing and stay tuned. See you on the next video.